Hey guys, welcome to another episode of How to Rip. In today's episode, we're going to look at how you actually make that transition from a beginner level surfer to an intermediate level surfer. Making that change is the most exciting thing you can do with your surfing, because once you get to that intermediate level and you master those essential skills that an intermediate level surfer has, well, really the world opens up and you can try all sorts of different turns and start to surf a variety of different waves. So let's have a look at how you do that. And guys, just a quick one. If you're interested in improving your surfing and taking it to the next level and getting some personalized feedback on your surfing, please send me an email at contact.ilovesurf@gmail.com. Send me an expression of interest about some upcoming surf retreats. We'll try and get you booked into a session. But for now, let's get into today's video. So this is you. You can take off, you can ride along a wave, and you're comfortable with those skills. But you want to get to this point. You want to be able to do turns. So in today's video, we're going to break down exactly how you get from a beginner level to an intermediate level surfer. So you might be wondering, when do I actually make that change and how do I make that change? From a beginner to an intermediate. We're going to break that down now using footage from the air, the land, and the sea. The first place to start is with board selection. Now, if you've followed our advice, you're probably surfing a really long board. That's thick, that's wide, that's long, kind of like this one. Now that board is perfect for getting you to a certain level, but eventually you're going to have to change it up as your surfing progresses. So let's have a look at this. Now don't get me wrong, many surfers actually surf longboards really well and they can turn them and do whatever they want. But from my experience, I found that little turns like this on my longboard were easy to learn, and that's great. Once you can perform basic maneuvers like that, turning on the whitewater, or even changes of direction, so small cutbacks and small carves, I find that transitioning to a smaller board makes turning much easier because of the increased sensitivity that that board actually gives you. So at some point, you're going to have to make the decision to go from that longboard or your bigger board to a shorter board. Now I know many of you are going to be asking, what kind of board am I talking about? Well, that's really hard for me to answer. There's so many factors that come into it. But what I just want to suggest is going to a shorter board. Don't make a huge jump initially in regards to going from an 8-foot board all the way down to a 5-foot board, because you're really going to struggle. You have to make baby steps as you go down in board size and board volume. But what you'll find that you gain from going to a smaller board is that turns like this become much easier to learn and practice. Now it's time to break down some essential skills that every intermediate level surfer has and every beginner will need to practice, learn, and then master. Now while the duck dive is an essential skill, it's very technical and it really needs its own video to teach you how to master it. So follow the link in the description below and you can follow a step-by-step tutorial on the duck dive. once you get to a point where you know these skills and you can perform them individually, well then it's about getting creative and learning how to perform these maneuvers in sync with flow and with variety on a wave. This video focuses mainly on how to perform these maneuvers on your forehand. I'll put a link in the description below for a specific video on how to perform these maneuvers on your backhand. Speed generation. This is a key skill that every intermediate level surfer has. Without speed on a wave, you are so limited in what you can actually do and perform. And this is how we generate speed. Taking off on a wave, you can notice how I was on a slight angle as I paddled in. Now you can see my arm. That's because I've thrown my arms and extended my body. And you can see that my board follows, and I'm trying to stay high on the wave as I do that. Let's have a look from the beach. You can see I paddle into the wave on an angle again. This means I can get up and going straight away. You see the throw of my arms and the extension of my body. My weight transitions onto my toes as I go high on the wave, and then slowly back to my heels, and then I repeat the process as I throw, extend, and put the weight onto my toes again. Perform this as many times as you need to generate some speed. The roundhouse cutback is a skill that every good surfer has, and they perform the roundhouse cutback for a specific reason, and you'll see why soon. So to perform the maneuver, you spot the section. Often it's on a fat, flat section. You then lean, you look, and you rotate, pointing with your leading arm to where you want to go. You keep it on rail until you spot the foam, and then you basically perform a backhand re-entry or backhand foam climb off that foam. And you'll find that you get a big acceleration of speed as you hit that foam. And the reason why you perform a roundhouse cutback is to bide time while the wave is fat. And sometimes in doing that, you wait patiently and then you get presented with a section where you can perform another maneuver. Sometimes a wave just doesn't offer you a section to perform another move, like a carve or a re-entry. So sometimes a wave might only allow for roundhouse cutbacks to be performed. Every turn starts with a bottom turn. So you identify a section that you want to hit. You then fade down to the bottom of the wave, you start to compress, and you look, lean, and point to where you want to go. You then hold that rail. You can see that my shoulders rotate because I'm pointing and looking to where I want to go. I've spotted this section here. I want to put my board on top of that. You can see I've done that here. My rotation's changed. You can see that I'm looking the other direction, and then I perform that re-entry off that section. Let's have a look at another example. Here you can see I performed that roundhouse cutback because it was fat. Now I can perform this re-entry off this section. You can see that I'm rotating away. And then you can see in this case that I've pushed my back leg out and then compressed really low. And in doing that, it allowed me to throw the fins out like this turn here. And that's something you can aim for a little bit later on. And remember, all we're doing is looking and pointing to where we want to go. We're using our weight transition from heel to toe. We're using compression and extension. All these basic skills, you can see how they're being applied to perform these maneuvers and these skills. So to perform a carve, you can see I've done a bottom turn. I'm going to perform a carve in a section that doesn't allow me to perform a re-entry, or it's a little bit steeper than a section that I would perform a roundhouse on. Once again, I look, I lean, and I rotate, and to finish that maneuver, you see that I compress low to finish. Let's have a look again. You can see I generate my speed. I drive to the top of the wave. You want to perform your carves on the lip of the wave. I look back to to where I'm going and I'm leaning. And as I finish that turn, you can see that I've compressed low, I've thrown my arms, and I've pushed my back leg out, which has allowed me to slide the tail. Once again, that's a skill you can work on a little bit later. Guys, thanks for watching the video today. I hope that now you have an understanding of the skills that you need to learn and master to make it from that beginner level to the intermediate level. And once you master those skills, I would say that you're an advanced intermediate level surfer pushing towards an advanced level surfer. Remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below to let us know what other videos you'd like to see.